It's 8:35 on this Wednesday morning. Dr. Sherilyn
Gerhardt.
It's like easy, but your first name threw me off because it's very pretty. But it was like, okay, so anyway, how are you?
I am wonderful.
Good. Thanks for coming in this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
So you work with Barton.
I do.
What do you think of that new Center of Excellence going in? Are you excited?
We've just broke ground. It's going to be incredible.
Yeah.
And we actually have parking now. We have a parking garage.
Finally.
Which is wonderful. Yes.
So actually, as we were coming out of break, you were just telling me that you have 3 different boards. So what kind of doctor are you?
So I did an internal medicine traditional residency. So that's what you think of when you think of a hospital doctor or an adult medicine doctor. But I went on to do additional certifications in geriatrics. So I chose elder care and also hospice and palliative medicine. And I married those two together.
That's a really interesting
choice. Yeah. Some of my classmates were a little surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's hard.
Right.
Most of the patients I deal with have multiple medical issues going on at the same time.
And I have a couple friends right now they're young, but they've been dealing with some chronic pain type things. And I just can't imagine living with that. And maybe that's one of the reasons you would you want to help those people because it's awful.
Well, my grandparents were very influential to me at the time I was getting ready to go to medical school and throughout college. And I got to see them go through some really severe chronic and serious illness. And I also got to see how hard it was for them to navigate the healthcare system. And I think that really inspired me, and I really wanted to be a part of helping that population get the best they could get out of the healthcare system, because it's really hard when you're a senior and you have disabilities and you don't have a good social network. It's really hard.
Right. And like you just said, even just navigating the insurance part and all of that is just this whole other
And it's gotten exponentially more complicated in the last few years.
It has.
Yes.
So is this a newer type of medicine, the palliative medicine?
Actually, it's a very old type of medicine that's getting its resurgence. Palliative care means to mitigate, to relieve suffering. And the term comes from a very old Latin word that goes back many, many centuries. And they used to set up palliative centers, somewhat hospices or hostels, for when people were migrating and traveling. So when they became sick or ill or they were dying, they could be cared for on that journey.
Interesting.
And
so is this new for Barton now?
The integrated palliative care program is new for Barton.
Okay, and who are the patients? Who can call you to talk about this?
Wonderful. So most of the patients are identified within the system. So we try to capture the people who are really having a hard time, who have a lot of medical illnesses, who may have transportation or financial limitations or don't have great social network, and their medical care is for some reason lacking, or it just really needs to be tightened up.
Yeah, put together, like talking about medicine, like their different medications they're on, right? And whether they work
15
together.
medicines, and they may have to take them in a very particular way, or they may still be suffering from some really bad symptoms, and their medicines may not be working, and they may not be taking them properly or understand how to take them. And so the concept of palliative care is we build a team of specialists from all different parts of the healthcare continuum, not just doctors. Really, actually, doctors are part of the team, not the most important part. We have clinical specialists, we have case managers, social workers, spiritual providers. We really try to figure out what domain is causing the barrier to getting them the right care.
That's awesome. And it is different from hospice. We're not talking like terminal.
Right, great question.
Yeah.
Palliative care is an arch of care that kind of extends over all of medicine. We should be doing a good job relieving your symptoms of suffering and debility and trying to preserve your function as much as possible, no matter where you are in the healthcare system.
So I could be a patient. It doesn't have to be the elderly.
Exactly.
Okay.
But hospice end-of-life care really is focused on that terminal phase of our life. And that's good because there's a lot of skills and really important things that need to happen during that time that are very specific.
And now you said that they're identified within the program, but if somebody maybe you haven't contacted them and they're listening to this and they're like, oh my gosh, I need that, they can contact you at Barton, right?
Certainly, and we have a wonderful team and a clinical specialist and my front office person who would be able to give you great information on the program. We have clinic hours. I also see patients in the hospital, and when necessary, we see patients where they live. Because some of them are so debilitated they can't get to clinic. It doesn't make sense.
So how would somebody go about making an appointment? How do we contact you?
Probably the easiest thing to do is to go to the Barton website. It's bartonhealth.org. And then we actually have a section /palliative care. Some people don't know how to spell palliative. I bet we're going to put it on the screen somewhere.
Do it. It's P-A-L-L-I-A-T-I-V-E.
P-A-L-I-A.
Okay.
T-I-V-E.
It's the I that if you don't
Exactly.
read it, you're messing it up.
Palliative.
There we go.
And then we have a clinic presence. I am in the hospital as well. I also have another physician who works with me part-time who does consults and works.
Is that Dr. Steinmetz?
Dr. Allison Steinmetz,
Yeah,
yes. And she's
great.
just a wonderful member of our community.
Yeah.
So-
Well, I'm super proud of Barton. I think you guys are doing
Me
a
too.
great job. I love how our teeny little town has this just comprehensive and really awesome facility. So I'm grateful to you for
It's
providing
great for
that.
a small community.
Yeah, so thank you for coming in. It's really nice
Thank
to
you
meet you.
so much. Thanks for having
coming
me.
up from Gardnerville.
I appreciate it.
All right, we'll be back with more Tahoe today right after this.
Don't miss.